How's it going, everyone? It's Daiken here, bringing you another Melty Blood Type Lumina video, and today we're going to be talking about everything Aoko Aozaki. Just like we did in our previous video with Dead Apostle Noel, we're going to be going over everything as far as her normals, her specials, supers, and of course a few combos, Oki situations, and mix-ups to get you started. Let's go ahead and start talking about everything Aoko. Before we start talking about the normals, just want to say Aoko has unique movement options in the form of 3 air jumps and 2 air dashes. So this is something she could do. This is going to be similar to how it works inside of Moon Drive. Basically, she has this movement outside of Moon Drive. And yes, once she goes into Moon Drive, she has access to 3 air dashes and 4 jumps. The only restriction to this is going to be you can't do the 3 jumps. Once you do 3 jumps, you only have access to 1 air dash. You can't do the other air dash. So you have to make sure you do the 2 other air dashes before you do the last jump. That is the only restriction. Aoko's A normals are going to be pretty standard, starting with her 5A right here. This is a mid kick, just to let you know. And of course, her crouching kick, which has pretty good range on it. Aoko's 5B is going to be a great ground poke button, as well as her 2B, which is going to be a low. Her 5B just has a little bit more range than her 2B actually does. Just slightly, ever so slightly more range this button has. Very slightly. Her 5C is going to be a pretty good button as well. This button can be very deceptive as far as hit. Even though it moves forward, you can still whip on crouches at a certain distance. So I don't really think this is going to be a best ground poke, but definitely used in block strings. Her 2C, also amazing poke. So your main pokes are definitely going to be 5B, 2B, and 2C with this character for the most part. Like I said, 5C can hit, but it does have that little bit of deceptive range where it will whip on crouchers because of the angle that it covers. So just keep that in mind. Aoko's command normals are going to be her unique overhead, which is going to be 4C. Now, the thing about this move is it can't be canceled into anything. When I mean anything, I mean nothing. So no other normals, no supers, not even a moon drive cancel. So it cancels into nothing. Mainly, you're going to be using this tool with her orbs to get combos and stuff like that for mix-ups. She also have access to 6C. So 6C is going to be a Rekka style move. This is going to give her the low option at the very end on the 4th hit, and then it's going to give the overhead on the 3rd hit. Now, the 2 main things that you need to know about this move is, of course, the overhead can be jump canceled, and you can special cancel up to the 2nd hit. So once you go to the 3rd hit, you're locked in, and you have to choose the actual mix-up option via the low or going into the overhead, which both options are safe if they are blocked. 6C has amazing stagger ability, so you could try to steal your turn back before you actually go into the final hit. Talking about Aoko's air normals, her JA is going to be a knee kick. This is going to be good for air to airs. Nothing really too crazy right home there. However, JB covers a good range that actually allows her to cover the ground in the air very well from low air dashes. So this will allow you to hit crouchers and also allow you to anti-air people for a decent combo if you actually get it to hit. Aoko's JC is going to be her best air to ground approach, and it also has a charge on it, which can be used for air combos, which is a little bit finicky for her, but something you can do to try to get it confirmed for. Now, going along with Aoko's air buttons is talking about air movement. So she also has an air dash that can't overshoot, which is going to be good for her as far as doing her pressure and stuff like that. Also with this, she can also do double buttons in the form of JBJA. So this is going to be her double button, just doing this. She can also do many things because she has double air dash, saying like stuff like this. So she can do air dash in, and like she could do a bunch of different crazy setups, like stuff like this, where there's a bunch of different overheads that you have to block at one time. This does get past the overhead protection, which there is a few overhead protections, but the 2nd hit will actually be an overhead. So the opponent has to continue standing up on all of the stuff that you can do. So it can get very scary and you get very creative with how long your air block stream can actually be. Talking about Aoko's special moves, starting off with her 236 series, her 236A is going to be the finger guns, which have pretty good pushback mid screen. However, in the corner, the pushback isn't very good, and you can actually get punished, so keep that in mind. Aoko's 236B is going to be a full screen laser, which is actually plus on block, so if you get your opponent to block this up close, you can actually frame trap them. Also, it has a charge version. If you do the charge version, you can actually create true block stream. Her 236 series can also be done in the air. The A version is going to make it to where she fast fall. This is going to be great when you do it low to the ground to create true block strings, or making it to where it's a frame trap. Her 236B is going to make it to where she hovers in the air for a little bit. Keep in mind, this version does not have a charge version, unlike her 236B. You can also do this very low to the ground to create true block strings or create frame trap opportunities for yourself. Aoko's 2-2 series is going to be her flip pillar, which is actually going to cover certain angles that her orbs actually don't cover, which we're going to talk about later. She can also use these in block strings to create some distance. However, I do think she has some better ways we'll talk about that creates distance for her a little bit better. Aoko 623 series is going to be our mix-up option. So the A version is going to be the low, which is safe on block, and the B version is going to be our overhead, which is also safe on block. Now the difference between this overhead and the other one from the Rekka is that this one actually has a follow-up, which is going to be punishable on block. However, if you actually do connect, you will get a combo on hit. And finally, it's time to talk about Aoko's orbs. Now, I wanted to put all the orbs together in one section, even though they're different special moves for them. And I'm also going to talk about the super versions, even though there's a section for supers. I just want all of this for the orbs to be in one spot so you guys can understand it fully. Aoko has two types of orbs. The first orb being proximity orbs on her 214 series, which explode upon going on contact with the enemy. When Aoko do the 214 orb, she sets it in place. However, if you hold the button, you can actually make it to where it go forward. The A and B are going to be two separate sets, and you can't have more than one of them out. So if you have the A version out, you can't put out another A. If you have the B version out, you can't have another B. It'll just set it out once again. Keep in mind the proximity orbs can be crouched, which is actually going to come to your benefit, which we're going to talk about much later. She can also do her 214 series in the air, which is just going to set these in the air for proximity, so if the opponent get close to these, they will explode upon contact. Keep in mind, you can't have more than one of these out still, so even if you do the air versions, if you decide to do the ground version, it would just take it away. She can also do a charge version of these, which I don't think do anything else outside of make her go back a little bit. So just keep this in mind that she could do this. However, the important thing you do want to know, she can actually TK these low to the ground, which is actually going to give you an angle that the normal ground version doesn't give you. This is going to be very important for covering certain things, like say kicks that go really low. Then if you do the low orb, you don't actually have to worry about this problem and are able to cover the options that you weren't able to cover naturally from just doing the ground version. Aoko's 421 series is going to be her hold or negative edge orbs. Now she can only have two of these out at the time, and once you have them out, you only really need to hold one button, and once you let them go, they will both explode at the same time. She does have three sets of these, so she can do a far one, a close one, and a medium one. This is the far one, this is the medium one, and this is the close one right in front of her. Now you can only set two of these at a time, like I said, so if you actually do try to do a third, it would just give you the actual regular one, which is going to be the 214 series. Now the trick to mastering these orbs is going to be switching the button which is being held so you can actually have the button out that you want. For example, maybe I want to use the A orb, but I want to have my A normals actually available to me and I don't want to actually hold the A version. So you switch by pressing the C button at the same time, and this will allow you to actually get it out. You want to do it at the time of doing the orb though, so it's going to look something like this. So now I actually have my A buttons available because I pressed A and the C immediately as she was casting it. Now my A button is available, so I can actually do pressure with my A button but still have it available. This also allows you to still have your grab as well, which you can actually get combos from, which you'll talk about later. So the last really important and cool thing about orbs is that they're all or separate of their own restrictions, which means you can have all sets all out on the screen all at the same time, which means I can have the 214 series out, I can also have the super version out, and I can have the hold versions out. So it means you can have 5 sets of orbs all out at the same time, which is pretty cool. Talking about Aoko's super, starting with her 236, her 236C is going to be the multi-laser shot. This will give you a hard knockdown and also have the ability to actually be comboed if they actually are already in the air. So a lot of her supers have this utility of being able to combo afterwards, which actually increases her damage tremendously, which is one of the unique things about this character. Aoko's 236C super is going to be plus on block, so this is actually one of her most favorable ways to actually create plus frame off of the finger guns. Aoko's 236C is going to be an air laser, which is also going to be plus on block as well, which you can also get true block strings off of if you actually do it really low to the ground. It's also going to be one of her best air supers to actually end combos with, so she can actually set up Oki situations. Aoko's 22C super is going to be a pillar wave, which actually isn't air unblockable. However, it is plus on block, so it makes it one of the best ways for her to actually get plus frames from the low, such as this. This super, like many other Aoko supers, also has a lot of utility because it's able to be comboed afterwards. Aoko's 214C super is going to be her orb, which you can actually move forward if you actually hold it. Now this one, unlike the other ones, won't go above the opponent's head just because of how big it is. You can also do this in the air, but you can't move it, but you can still cover those angles that you weren't able to cover before with the other orb. Both the air and ground version of the super is actually plus, however it's very hard to utilize the plus frames on the ground because of the pushback. However, the air version is very easy to use, especially off the flip kick, which you can use the plus frames pretty well because of how close it actually keeps you. This super also has the ability, like much of her other supers, to be comboed afterwards in combos. And lastly, her 623C super is going to be her meter reversal, since she lacks any meterless reversal options. This does cause a hard knockdown, which allows you to run up and actually start some pressure. And finally, the moment a lot of you guys have been waiting for, some combos and Oki situations, set up some mix-ups for you all. And as always, the notations will be at the bottom of the screen. So now you got some basic combos and Oki concepts that you can use for Aoko, and you can also put in some supers in any of those combos that I showed you just to get some extra damage because of the utility of her supers. Just putting a launcher at the end of the super and going for the air combo typically is what you can do. And finally, it's time to put those Oki concepts into play, showcasing some mix-up opportunities you could do. Now, much like Aoko's combos, where it's a lot freeform because you can also always put supers inside of her combos just to get some extra damage and stuff, the concept of utilizing the hold orb is going to be very freeform as far as the mix-ups you could do. So this is just a showcase to get your heads thinking in the right direction. And you pretty much get the idea of the creativity you can have when it comes to your orb setups. There's all different types of other mix-ups you can try. There's even things where you can get past the cross-up protection, and there's ways where you can beat a lot of the shield options and stuff as well. This is a very creative tool with a lot of utility that I just want to showcase a few of the mix-ups so you guys can start understanding exactly what type of things you can actually be doing when it comes to your hold setup orbs. Anyway, as always guys, I hope you all found this video useful. Let me know down in the comments below what other videos you want to see from Melty Blood Type Lumina, as far as any other characters that I break down like this, or any other type of videos that you guys want to see. As always, if you like anything I had to say, drop me a like, I really appreciate it. And if you want more from me, follow my socials. Also, don't forget to subscribe and turn notifications so you know the next video goes live. As always, my name is Daikin, and I'll see you next time. Signing out.